inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me's a road ahead of full prophecy. To be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling this war. Never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. Adrenaline pressure, it's stormy weather, lightning, thunder, pouring weather. Yo, I'm a go-getter, try to do it like me, but I do it better. I got a mind that's clever, the beast inside is competitive as ever. I'm conscious, my subconscious, an accomplice to me. I promise the darkness, I can honest believe. But don't cross me, I might lose control of the lost beast. He's locked away inside with the key control by fight or flight. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
Yo, what's up, everybody? So we have 5 more minutes before we start the AMA. I am still waiting for Chris to come into the room. So just to give you guys an idea about our AMA, so it's about the Cleo Tech. So our special guest is no other than the CEO, Mr. Jason Sibley. So for the giveaway, it will be 100 USD that will be shared by the top 5 best questions from the community. Okay, so we have 4 more minutes. So while we are waiting for Chris, let's try to say hello to those who are with us today. So I want to make a shout out to the following early birds. So yeah, we have A&D Family Channel. Hello once again. We have Metamorph Pro, J Marin, Eric Bilig. Hello again. Eunice Tyler, LFG, coming from the family of Web3 Bacolod and TCA. So also known as the Cryptology Academy. So shout out to you guys. So Web3 Bacolod is also the community that I have founded right here in the City of Smiles. NFT News, hello. Inside Play, Sashi, hello. just to remind you guys, please reserve your questions after the Q&A session is over, okay? Marie, Tazi, hello. I know you're waiting. I know you're excited. Robert, hello. Raquel, Lechadores, hello. Who else? We have 30, Dibasish, Sahu. Yeah, just wait, just wait for the Q&A session. Will be over later on because we have 3 segments for this live AMA. Hello, Hasmina. Wow. Thanks for the support. We have also Christine May Riodas, Fong Tran, hello. Pramana, Robert Yu, Lin An. Yeah. Hello to you guys. Please invite your friends. It's been a very long time that we haven't had a live AMA here on YouTube. So I think Jason is coming in. Thanks for the support again, guys. So let's wait for Jason. So we have 2 more.
I'm here, but my my Logitech webcams give up on me, so it's not doesn't want to play. So I'm literally just going to my MacBook. Let me 2 seconds.
Okay, no problem. At least you're here.
Right. Let's try my FaceTime camera. Let's see if that's working better.
Yeah.
Yay, we're working.
Alethea Gaston, your feedback. Use slow mode for the chat. Okay, maybe in the next one because we're about to begin anyway. Hello, Noa Nama. Hello, thank you. So guys, would really appreciate your support. Please subscribe to our channels and also the channel of Cleo Tech. So we have here Jason Sibley. So how are you today, Jason?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you for inviting me on.
All right. So you might want to say hello to our live viewers here before we officially start our AMA.
Yeah, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Jason. I'm the CEO of Cleo. I am sat in the UK at the moment, and it's miserable weather. So I hope where you are, the sun is shining, and you're excited about the crypto market for this year.
All right. And also, guys, just to inform you, we have some corrections for the winners of our AMA. So as requested by by the development team. So we instead of 5 winners, we only have 3 winners. So there will be like rankings. The 3rd place will take home 20 USD. Second best question 30 USD, and the 1st place will take home 50 USD. So this just coming, guys. Okay, just to clarify. Okay. So I will be editing the giveaway here, the top. Okay, so once again, to recap, 3rd place will take home 20 USD, 2nd place 30 USD, and the 1st place with the best question 50 USD. So guys, make sure that you study the project. So and then you should ask Chris some very, very challenging and difficult questions, for you to have a higher chance in, on taking these prizes. Okay. So, Chris, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Are we live?
Yeah, we are live right now. And
amazing.
The viewers here can't wait for us to begin. Okay. So once again, guys, please understand, regarding the clarification of our prizes. Okay. So we will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good day, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. So once again, this is yours truly, Nomad Fury, and we're back for another live AMA. So it's been a long time that we haven't had these sessions, but right now, here we are. And of course, our special guest for today is no other than the CEO of Cleo Tech. So please welcome to the AMA, Mr. Jason Sibley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. And also, I would like to say hello to all of our subscribers and to all of our reviewers from around the world who are tuning in to our live AMA with Cleo Tech. So we will be learning more about Cleo Tech coming from Chris. So by the way, guys, we have 3 segments. Okay. So the first segment is about the introduction of the project. The second segment, in which we are going to select some of the questions from Twitter. And our final segment will be from the community questions. Okay. So, Chris, are we all set?
Yes, yes. Apart from I'm Jason. I think you might have talked to Chris and set
Oh,
this
sorry,
up.
sorry. Jason, sorry. I don't know
That's
why you
okay.
called Chris. sorry. I kind of lost.
I know. Well, you've been
All right.
mixing it up, so I thought I'll tell you now, just so we don't have 45 minutes of it. But
Okay. All right. So let's begin our AMA. So first things first, let's start with the project introduction. Now, Jason, could you briefly describe your project to our community and what are the problems that you guys are trying to solve?
okay, so I'm not sure I can do it. I'll try and do it as briefly as I can. I've been in sales and marketing for 25 years. Ran my own agency for the last 20, working with big blue chip national brands, helping them generate pipeline. And everybody has got exactly the same problem, right? Now, for the last 2 years, we've been developing the technology to help us address this problem on a global scale, and we call that Cleo. So essentially, Cleo is a blockchain-based application, and it runs on Polygon. So 2 years ago, we were investigating building our own. Thankfully, layer 2s like Polygon have come along that have helped us accelerate our development. So our first program is called Marketing for Good, which is to embed a good in the lead generation process. So let me just quickly explain that for people that are listening that maybe aren't in marketing at the moment. So the good thing is that this is the same problem that exists for every marketeer globally. And this is the single biggest problem in marketing today, which is the value exchange at a point of contact request. So what I mean by that is when you're generating a lead and you want to sell somebody something, at some point, we've got to ask them for their personal details. We've got to ask you for an email address. We might ask you for your name. Some people might say, well, we've got to ask you for your phone number, whatever it is. So at some point, we've got to ask you for your details and then permission to contact you. Now, this is very, very big in Europe at the moment because new laws have come in called GDPR. Some of US is doing that, but essentially it's moving towards permission-based marketing. Now, the problem is people realize that their time is worth money, right? So let me give you an example, right? So we've got some people watching your YouTube channel. You've got loads of subscribers. I've been checking your videos out. I think it's really great right now. People only watch those videos because they think there's something in it for them. They're not sat around thinking, oh, I've got 40 minutes spare. How shall I spend my life, right? They actually think, right, that they're tuning in because there's something in it for them. And I want people to listen to my story because we've got a token launch coming up soon. The market is right at the beginning as it starts to build up. This is exactly the right time to get into projects that have got, global scale that are pre-built, right? So we know what our value exchange is. Okay, somebody might learn something, but they kind of want to make some money. In marketing, what I'm doing is I'm saying, download my asset, watch my video, come on my webinar. But at that point, what is the value exchange? I'm getting your data, I'm getting your time, I'm getting your attention, but what do you get? And also the buyer's getting a lot more younger. They're a lot more digitally savvy. So in essence, Cleo, with our first project called Marketing for Good, addresses that imbalance. So what we say is, okay, so let me give you one example. We're doing a program for Google to help people come onto webinars to learn about their products, right? 20-minute demo. And what we're offering is to carbon offset your computer use for a whole year if you give us 20 minutes of your time. So you do this one action and we'll plant 5 trees. You give us this bit of time and we'll remove 100 kilograms of plastic from the oceans, or we'll carbon offset you. So it's about meeting value with value. So in essence, the short explainer is we help brands reward somebody's attention with a good in the world. So it's a measurable good. But the real kicker is we actually reduce the cost per lead by more than the good costs. So our platform is zero cost. We are completely carbon net zero, and we help people generate better quality, lower cost leads. And the byproduct is the planet gets a helping hand. Now, of course, as we all know, blockchain has many uses. Cleo is essentially an NFT engine that provides a certification of completion of good, which is the NFT. We launched with Marketing for Good. We're now launching 2 other programs that are shaped a little bit differently, but uses this same principle, which helps us have a bit more scale. So Marketing for Good, rewarding somebody's attention and data with a good in the world to generate lower cost, higher quality leads. So I know that wasn't a short explanation, but hopefully it positions kind of where we've come from as a business.
All right, so at least we've learned from you, Jason, about your project, explaining it to our community, and of course the problems that you're trying to solve. So thank you so much for that. Now, Jason, what does Marketing for Good mean to you?
Well, we do a lot of bad in marketing, but we don't really talk about it, right? So if you just take digital ads served in a year, it's the equivalent of flying 2 million people between London and Paris, and that's just serving ads. So for me, Marketing for Good is about trying to put some good into your marketing. What I don't want people to feel is that, well, let's face it, right? Carbon taxes, carbon credits, personal carbon credits, company ESG goals, these are all coming, right? They're advised at the moment, but they are going to come as some kind of fixed target that people need to achieve. And what we feel is that people should be embedding technology in their normal course of business operations. So if I'm generating leads, I'm doing some good in the meantime, and that carbon offsets my campaign. So it's about bringing some balance to the campaign. What we're not trying to do is convince people to go plant trees, right? We're not marketing the projects. We're generating leads for businesses, generating engagement and generating pipeline. But in the natural course of doing that, they are offsetting the carbon or offsetting some of the bad that's being done. And I think if everybody takes a little bit of ownership for their own little world, like, what do I put out there? How can I address that? I think we'll get to this solution before we have to be taxed to death, or there's fear, or we're not allowed to drive more than 15 minutes from our house, or we're only allowed to take 1 flight every 2 years, or, all of the crazy things that are kind of being discussed. I think we need to look at how we can make small incremental changes to what we do to bring a little bit more balance to our operations. So yeah, so for me, marketing, that's about replacing some of the bad with a little bit of good, really.
Oh, okay, I see. Now we understand about the Marketing of Good or what you mean. Okay. Now, Jason, what makes you think is the most important part of Cleo Tech?
I guess from a brand point of view, it's self-funding. So in essence, we're selling money to somebody. I'm selling somebody savings. Whenever we go now, or one of the team goes and talks to a brand, they're like, well, how much does it cost? And we're like, well, but actually, no, it saves you money. So we're not actually providing a cost layer to people, which I think is a real big benefit. The other thing, but for me, because I've come at this from a technology point of view in marketing, is we wanted to innovate with something, is I think the blockchain gives us a unique way to create a very transparent environment. And having a token gives us the ability to create an in-app currency that can be utilized kind of globally. So, we think transparency is incredibly important. We think a single ledger that can detail the good that's been done and the money that's been pushed through the system to do that is ideal. And I think this is what the blockchain's been built for. So for me, I absolutely love the fact that it's built on the blockchain. I've been in the market personally since 2017, but I've never actually had my own project. And this is one that really fixes a day-to-day problem that we faced in agency land for a long time. So yeah, so I know there's 2 answers there. So built on the blockchain, lots of token utility, but very importantly, it's a self-funding thing. So we're actually selling savings. So that makes us infinitely scalable. Also, just want to add, actually, from a business point of view, we're not doing a token raise to build the thing. So if I was an investor, I'd say the most important thing for Cleo is that it's built. It's now live in market with customers with an active pipeline. We're not trying to do a raise to go and build a thing. We've actually built the thing over the last 2 years through the bear market. So the token raise, which is actually quite limited, we're doing a limited token raise. That's just to help us scale, because we need local offices in local countries that are helping translate content and manage customers. So, we're very strong Europe and US. Asia Pac is a huge market for us. So we're going to be using the funds to scale, but we're cash positive from day one. So I think when I started back in crypto, I was trying to think, end of 2016, 2017, it was all ICOs, which were ideas. We were throwing money at projects that were, white papers, but no real business. And they said, oh, well, we're going to build it and it might take us 2 years. So we were backing an idea. I think this time it's changed. And unless we're launching a meme coin, which we're not, I think people are going to want to look for projects that actually are post-revenue, are live, have customers. So immediately are seeing token utility, not, oh, well, token utility will happen, when we get customers in, a year or 2 years time. So hopefully there's something there kind of for everybody on the call, right?
Okay, so at least we learned from you, on what is the most important part of you guys for the Cleo Tech. And on top of that, aside from revealing the most important part, Jason, could you share about the utilities that you have for your token, and of course, what would be our benefit for token holders?
So let me start by saying we are positioned in the most explosive environment, for the next 5 years. And I use environment in kind of both ways, right? But this is, it's starting to become a problem. Governments are starting to talk about regulating it. And everybody, if we wind forward 10 years, everybody will have a personal carbon credit counter. We'll have a digital wallet. It'll track how far I've drove. It'll track, so we are right at the beginning of a whole new investment wave in climate tech technologies. There's stuff out there, but what to come in the next 10 years can make a big difference. So we're in an incredibly explosive market, and we've got advisors everywhere from, ESG to British government, right? So we are, ideally positioned, but we also want to have a real simple tokenomics. So there's 3 things to say. The first thing is the Cleo token is the money in the system. So in effect, it's a carbon credit yet to be spent. So everything that comes through the system is settled with a Cleo token. So we've just done an advertising campaign for Lenovo. We're just about to put a campaign in market for HP. We're talking to around 15 football clubs. We've got about 50 schools we're talking to. There's 10 other blue chip IT brands that we're talking to. We're talking to 2 of the largest financial institutions that generate a lot of bank plastic cards, and they want to offset that in the way they're doing the plastic, right? So all of these guys, whenever they're buying a campaign, everything gets settled through the token. So the token has a lot of velocity through the application. So there's a lot of buying and selling all the time. Now, that may be good for liquidity. It's not necessarily good for token price, right? And although I can't commit to anything on the token price, we have got a very clear model, which is 10% of our revenue, so this is top line, goes to support the token. Half of that, so 5% of our revenue, goes into a buyback and burn pot, which is administered by the token holders. So they will vote what to do with our accumulated funds. So for example, do we buy regularly every month and burn, or do we buy when we hit the 200-week moving average? Or we'll work with the community to decide how to spend that money. But in effect, we will be deflationary from day one. And remember, we're earning revenue now before we've even put the token in market. So we've already got a pot to start to back our token. So deflationary buyback and burn with 5% of our revenue is one. The second one is we want to start to plan to innovate out of our problems and actually create more of an ecosystem that we're offering to brands. So the other 5% goes into an impact investing DAO, which is owned by the token holders. So every token holder will have an equal share in a fund. We've got a completely separate ESG board that's not us, because we're sales guys and marketeers, right? So we've got a separate ESG council who will administer the fund, and their job is to bring investment opportunities to the community. So we've just made some investment in vertical farming. We're looking at all sorts of amazing solutions, all the way from absolute ideas to a little bit more established different ways of doing energy recovery from streams. I mean, we could have a whole hour just talking about that. But the point for the token is 5% of our gross revenue goes into a pot that's owned by the holders. So the holders then vote which projects to back, which we can then use in the future. So it's a climate tech fund. The token holders then also vote on what to do with the returns from the fund. So as that fund grows, and as we divest the funds back into cash, they might decide to apportion some of that to buy back and burn more tokens, or issue something to the token holders, or keep the investment pot rolling, if that makes sense. So it's we want to give something immediately today, which is the buyback and burn, and we want to give something which is value to the future. And like I said, the token holders, it's not owned by Cleo Corporate, that's owned completely by our token holders. So that's what helps, I think, provide long-lasting utility. No like quick staking, no crazy APYs that just dish out a load of tokens, then people dump. We just want to have a nice and slow growth, nice and transparent. And that's why I think now's the time to go, right? Because we can launch our token at any time because we're live and we've got customers. We want to go now because I think it gives everybody a really great chance to get in really early. Okay, if we were going in a year's time, we'd be mid-bull, would have had the halving, everybody will start to going crazy. You'll be on your YouTube saying, Bitcoin to $1 million, you know what I mean? Because that's, everybody gets all excited, don't they, at that point, right? So, and we'd probably raise a lot more money doing it then, but that's not what we want. We want something that's sustainable, that we can see steady growth. So we actually think now's a good time to go. And I think the nice thing is, because we've got this very transparent towards revenue, everybody can see from our accounts what money they're earning, and then what money's in the pot, and then how that's circulating. And it all is for good. Now, there's a little bit of profit along the way, which I think is quite nice, right? So, somebody once said to me, so like in a gold mine, the people that made the most, and in the gold rush, the people that made the most money were the people that sold shovels, right? So we don't want to be out there planting trees. We want to give people easy access to carbon credits that are fully government approved, that are fully interoperable, that use an NFT as a digital completion certificate. So there is no ambiguity. You can trace these things on chain. It's what it's designed for. So we think being that platform is a great way also, to make some money as a side effect of helping the planet.
All right, so those are some of the amazing utilities and use cases of your token, Jason. Okay, thank you so much for sharing to us about that, and of course about the benefits that the token holders would get. Okay, so before we head over to the next question, I would like to remind all of you guys that this YouTube AMA doesn't promote any financial or investment advice. So it's only intended for educational and informative purposes. Okay. Now let's proceed to our next question, Jason. Now, this is one of, I had to admit that it's one of the favorite questions that most of my guests from the past, could you share some details about your recent major achievements done by Cleo Tech, and also what is your future roadmap and some targets of your project?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we've literally just finished our very, very first client campaign, which was, so the first customer to use the platform was Lenovo. It was a very targeted ABM campaign for any marketing people listening. We had a very narrow target list. So we executed that. Over 250,000 impressions, 12,000 individuals gained, but very importantly, 95 high quality leads generated for Q2. Now our target has gone up for Q3, but Q2 is completed. And from a good point of view, that in that single campaign, we retired over 28 tons of carbon. So that was a completely net zero campaign. On our roadmap, we've got, a lot of marketing for good clients that are coming on board. So our next campaign is with Hewlett Packard. We've got a couple of other brands that people will know, bringing campaigns in market in June. So this is marketing for good. We're also launching our sports for good and our schools for good programs. So they're quite nicely underway. Our web app is completely live. So during our next phase, we're bringing our web app version 2, and we're also launching our iOS and Android applications. Obviously, in the next kind of 2 months, we're just about to enter into our pre-sale now. Then we're going to go into our public sale, hopefully towards the, I think it'll be probably first week of July, but please join our Discord for the announcement as to when we do that. Like I said, we're just going into pre-sale, but I think that's probably filled. So we'll be going out into public. We're already talking to exchanges now. So we've got our exchange listing strategy, and the token raise will help us then open regional offices. One thing I do want to invite people to is that we are recruiting ambassadors at the moment. They are paid positions. So if there are budding people on the call that are in crypto, that have a community, that always look for projects to support, we're solving a global problem. So we'd love to invite people to come and apply to be an ambassador. So you can do that either by joining our Discord, or if you just look at our Twitter, there'll be links on there too. But for sure, if you'd like to be a part of the team more officially, we are at that point now, and that's all happening pre kind of token raise. So there's a lot going on. On our website, if you go on there, you can see our tokenomics and our white paper. You can download that. That's got our full tokenomics model and also our roadmap for this year. So everything I'm talking about here is explained probably a little bit more sensibly with images in our white paper. So you can just go download that now and kind of read. Last thing I'd say is we do a weekly kind of roundup as well. So if you go in our Discord, you can ask questions and we answer them on a video every week. So we put out kind of a weekly update. It's great coming on to talk to you in your community, but obviously we need to have a way of addressing our own community too, and make sure that nobody misses anything in our journey. So we do a short, sometimes the video is an hour in length, sometimes it's 10 minutes, right? So, we do weekly AMAs directly for our community as well.
All right. Wow, those are some of the amazing achievements that you have today, and also I'm revealing your future roadmap and plans for that, Jason. Now, for my final question for this first segment, aside from you, of course, who are the founders and where do you guys when it comes to the development? Like, where are you based?
So there's three real core founders. Myself. So I've been in marketing for just over 30 years now, ran my own agency for the last 21, and I consult with some really large global agencies on lead generation. My other founder is a guy called Peter Smith. So Peter's one of the best operators, marketing operators that we've worked with. I've worked with for the last 25 years. He is our COO. He's looking after the way that the campaigns get executed through the engine. And our chairman is a guy called Colin Glass. So Colin today is based in Asia. So he is working with projects such as, microloans to women in Cambodia, to open sustainable farming, to buying land in northern Thailand. But in his previous life, he's sat on the board of some of the UK's largest companies. So he's a really great bridge between the two. We also then have our ESG sustainability board, and we've got more details about that on our website as well, which are the people that aren't managers in the business. They have their own independent role to run. From a development point of view, we have our own development team. Now, they are spread around Europe. COVID's kind of changed the world, right? I'm sat in my little home office now. I'm not sat in my main office with the rest of the staff, right? We're all kind of dispersed. So it has created the opportunity to create a really great team, irrespective of borders. So I'd also say if there's any developers watching that would love to be part of a sustainable blockchain project that's building applications, and we are building on Polygon, please reach out too. So we are recruiting as well, from DevOps all the way through to front end. But we are not fixed to a location. So staff, Asia, UK, Europe mostly, and US, Arizona mostly. But we are, we've got no barriers when it comes to geography now, because we're very much in an online working world.
All right, at least we know who are the founders and where you guys based. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Now that concludes our first segment for this AMA. Now for second segment, so we will be selecting some questions via Twitter. So I'm going to go on them one by one. Okay, so let's see. The first question from Twitter is how does Cleo measure the reduction in a brand's cost per lead?
Oh, it's a great question. So, like I said earlier, it really is a global problem, and customers should know what their cost per lead is, but we can help them calculate their cost per lead and their cost per sale, essentially the stages in their pipeline. Now, at Cleo, we can either offer them just the good to improve their pipeline, or we can offer them a no risk fixed cost per lead from Cleo. So what that means is that they can either say, oh, we just want the good, you know, $5, $10, $15 per lead, however they want that to map out, or we can actually generate the lead for them. So let me give you a real quick example. I know we're conscious about time, right? So, you know, one of our clients runs webinars. Clicks have got more expensive. LinkedIn ads have got more expensive. You know, the average click has gone from $4 pre-COVID to about $14 to $16 post-COVID. The other problem is people don't fill in the forms on pages as much. And if it's a webinar, less people actually show up. You know, it's gone down from kind of about 33% turnout to 20%. So when we calculated through their pipeline, it was actually costing them over $1,200 to get one person to attend a webinar. Now, when we embedded the For Good offer, which basically said, you give us 20 minutes of your time and we'll carbon offset your computer for a whole year, that costs $50 through Cleo. But the cost per attendee was cut in half. So we saved the cost per lead. We reduced that by $600. So that represented a $550 saving, and they had a better quality lead, and the planet got some good. And we can ask them questions. Now, the fixed cost per lead model is better for the token holders purely because, as I said earlier, our token support is based on our gross revenue. So if a client just does the good, let's say the good is $10, but they do a cost per lead model, which is say $100, we're getting $10 token support in the cost per lead, and we're getting $1 token support in the good. So the fact that we're offering this cost per lead, and that seems to be what people are more interested in, is amazing for token holders because it 10x's the amount of support the token gets for every single lead. But we're very consultative, and our offers go from a very low price to a very high price, depending on, you know, ultimately what product somebody's selling. They might be selling something that's got a quick turnover and a low price, or they might be selling something that's got an AUP of $500,000, for example. Well, the cost for leads for each of those are very different. So the system's flexible enough to account for that.
All right, so thank you for answering that question, Jason, and how you guys measure the reduction in a brand's cost per lead. Now let's entertain another question via Twitter. Now, could you elaborate on the specific benefits or advantages for brands that participate in Cleo's marketing campaigns?
Yeah, brilliant question. So this one's a short answer because I know this one because I say this all the time, right? Basically, using Cleo, they get an improved engagement. They get a lower cost per lead, which we can guarantee them a lower cost per lead. And they get a For Good reward that's actually self-funded by the reduction in the cost per lead. So they get better quality for less, and they do some good. And a nice little cherry on the cake that we embedded was when somebody claims the good, the brand can ask them some questions too. So, and when somebody gets to that point of executing whatever they're doing, like plastic from the ocean, tree planting, carbon offsetting, when they get to that point, you know, we can ask them a few sales qualified questions too. So they can actually get an incredibly high quality lead, you know, at a lower cost. And the planet gets a nice little helping hand along the way. So they can say that it's a net zero campaign, or they can use that carbon credit towards their broader company ESG goals. So it ticks a lot of boxes for them, we believe.
All right. So thank you so much for answering that question, Jason, about elaborating on the specific benefits or advantages for the brands who are participating in your marketing campaigns. Now let's entertain another Twitter question. Jason, in your perspective, what significance does technology hold in tackling environmental issues, and which groundbreaking solutions or initiative or initiatives do you think will have the greatest influence in shaping a more environmentally sustainable future?
Oof, right. Okay. So I have to praise you this by I am a sales and marketing technology guy, right? So let me just start by saying that what I do believe is that as a collective, we've got the ability to, innovate our way out of problems. We don't need governments or central powers that we don't elect to enforce things on us, or to use fear, or to tax people, to change behavior. I think education, transparency, and real world solutions will help people move the needle, and we don't have to punish people or make people feel bad, right? And in this space, there's a lot of greenwashing. So technology, from my point of view, helps us fix that part. Okay, so we can be the most transparent green platform that can provide an end-to-end record of where every dollar has gone, from vendor through to the partner, out to the token community, and it can all be recorded in the metadata, and the completion certificate is an immutable NFT. So technology helps us prove that the good is happening. But I think the bigger part to that question is we've started to build this ESG council, and their job is to really research technologies and to meet funds and meet startups of people. I mean, I've got no idea, right? I mean, when I started in marketing, it was the birth of Web 2. And we would say, oh, you need to have a website. Oh, you really need to have social media, right? I could never imagine the way people would be working today, 20 years on. And this is the same thing. The solutions that really fix the problems, I don't think have been invented yet. Everything's still a little bit clunky. I think planting a tree is maybe a little bit clunky because ultimately it's going to die at some point. So there's better carbon removal processes that we can follow. And people are coming up with new solutions absolutely every day. So, I'm incredibly excited through our panel to discover these investment climate tech opportunities. And the two places to be, AI and climate tech, right? Now, we are building AI into our roadmap because that's really important. So we will be very AI friendly. But I think the explosive, the two big explosive industries will be climate tech and AI. And, I think we sit very firmly in one. And that's why I'm not out there researching projects, because I'm not the expert. We've really recruited experts from the market to come on board as non-exec directors to basically be our governance council, but also to be the investment advisory board to the token holders. So it won't be me saying, oh, I found this great project. It will actually be experts in the market. And we've currently got 3, but we're extending that at the moment. And we're going through a recruitment process to add more non-exec directors. So again, if somebody happens to be listening and they are big in the ESG space and they want to see what we're doing, reach out, because we are having a panel in Paris next month where we're doing our recruiting for the rest of our non-exec directors. But I'm super excited what kind of solutions they're going to bring, to people for investment opportunities.
All right. Wow. At least you've answered, on how you guys are going to tackle these environmental issues, and of course, your groundbreaking solutions that will have you the greatest influence in shaping a more environmentally sustainable future. Thank you for that. Now, let's entertain 3 more Twitter questions. Now, Jason, could you provide examples of successful partnerships Cleo has established with various brands and organizations, and how these collaborations have resulted in tangible positive outcomes?
I mean, so I talked a little bit about brand ones earlier, right? Because that was similar. It's a good question, but it's similar to one that you asked a little bit earlier. So I've talked about Lenovo, HP. We're just working up a campaign for Google. We've got a campaign for MasterCard, which I hope will come in during Q3. So we're very well developed on the marketing for good one. We're also focusing a lot on sports too, because we recognize that a lot of professional sports have actually got ESG goals too, and they're doing a lot, right? So if you just think about today, like football, I'm a big football fan. Sadly, I'm a Manchester United fan, and we lost at the weekend. But if we just take professional football, its carbon footprint just on match days is nearly 150 million tons, and they are addressing it. So renewable energy in stadiums, biofuel travel, all that kind of stuff. We even have met with a brilliant club called Blackburn Rovers in the UK, steeped with history. They're moving by 2025 to have all of their kit made out of recycled plastic. So everybody's doing something. But within Cleo, they can release existing IP to create digital collectibles that then help them go green, right? So that can be anything. It can be photographs, it can be videos of goals, it could be squad photographs. We're even talking to one club about making their programs digital collectibles, you know. So if we just take Arsenal as one club, so Arsenal typically print around 20,000 programs for a home game. And if it's something special going on, they'll even go up to 100,000. Now, creating a digital version of that program, which by definition as an NFT can have rarity built in, means that they can reduce their printing costs dramatically, but actually use that to go towards tree planting to offset their physically printed ones too. So lots of partnerships going on the front end. On the back end, we've got 3 amazing partners, which I'll cover very, very quickly. Eden Reforestation are on target to try and plant a billion trees. They are absolutely fantastic, and they've given us loads of support. Second Life in Thailand do amazing work taking plastic out of the ocean, but also recycling it into other products. So it's not just taking it out, it's actually taking it out and setting it some good. And that's called Second Life. Probably our largest one is called Rimbaraya Biodiversity Reserve. These guys are the only project globally that meet all 17 of the UN Sustainability Development Goals. So they are absolutely incredible. They do some amazing work. Now, we've launched with our 3 partners, but part of our ESG council is to keep finding more. So we've got a team doing marketing, we've got a team doing sports, we've got a team doing schools, and then we've got an ESG council looking at the offerings that we provide that our Cleo token can be used to go towards. And at the moment, that's plastic capture and recycling, it's tree planting, and it's carbon offsetting. All of this is on our website, by the way. So you can go to our website and you can see case studies of recent customers. You can go and investigate our partners. You can go through and look at the good stuff that they're doing. But it's it's a really exciting place to be.
All right. So at least you shared to us some of the brands and organizations have collaborated with you guys, in which that results to some tangible positive outcomes. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Jason. Now let's entertain a couple more Twitter questions before we head over to the live chat. Now, does Cleo offer customizable marketing solutions to fit the unique needs of different businesses?
Yeah, 100%. So our engine, there's kind of 2 dimensions to mention. So our engine can provide the good from as little as 65 cents all the way up to $850. So $850 is carbon offset for life. And that's fantastic. So you actually get the geolocation of the tree. The tree is going to live for over 280 years, and it will absorb more carbon that you can put out, right? So we can offer a lead, and actually so some of the customers we're talking to will do this one as a prize. So they might say, oh, we're planting 10 trees per lead, but one lucky winner gets carbon offset for life. And this is a generative NFT that grows as your sequoia. It's a giant sequoia tree as that grows. So the good is incredibly flexible. 65 cents. Oh, so we're talking to some social media platforms, one in particular that I'm very close to, about embedding the good in for streamers. So as people tip you, it can be offsetting the good, right? Offsetting the stream cost. So very flexible in terms of the good. The other thing as well is we're very flexible in terms of the way that a lead gets developed. And what I mean by that is in marketing for good, if people want that lead, they can either get it as like a single touch digital lead all the way through to telebank qualified. So what that means is that we'll generate the lead, we'll nurture the lead, we'll telephone them, we'll ask them some qualifying questions, we'll make sure they're interested, and then we'll introduce that lead into the brand. So if you are a SaaS startup and you've had some funding and you need pipeline, but you haven't yet got a lot of telesales people, we can do that for you. If you are, one of our clients is IBM. So if you're IBM and you've got telesales teams in every region, and what you really need is, leads to keep them busy, you kind of want the earlier stage digital leads. So offers, rewards going from little to a lot, and leads going from very low touch to very high touch. And that's kind of our matrix. So lead offers from, good offers from 65 cents, leads from as low as $40. So we're not an enterprise, we are an enterprise solution, but we're not an enterprise exclusive solution. A small business could come in, set up a campaign, a retail business could come in and say, oh, for everybody that does this, we're going to plant a tree, and the proof is the execution, and you come claim your NFT certificate. And that's why Polygon's perfect. We couldn't do this on Ethereum because Ethereum fees would take up most of our money, whereas Polygon is incredibly efficient in doing this type of thing. But also the NFTs are very interoperable, especially in sports for good. So, anybody that buys a football NFT, there's a collectible. If they wanted to, they could go sell it and they could go trade it. But that trading creates a pot that does more good. So actually trading of these things will be pretty useful too, because it will generate a future income to help people meet their ESG goals.
All right, so at least you've shared to us, Jason, and how you guys offer customizable marketing solutions to fit the unique needs of various businesses. Okay, now for our final question via Twitter before we head over to the community. So, Jason, do you have some specific criteria for the brands that you choose to work with? Like, for example, do you place a strong emphasis on their dedication for creating a greener future and promoting sustainability?
No. So let me explain. So we're a self-service platform. Once you set up, you can create your own campaigns. You can even upload your own NFTs if you want to, or you can pick one that we already have. So there is no criteria, size, shape, size of campaign, for somebody to be able to use Cleo. The second part of the question really makes me smile, right? So, do we want people that are dedicated to creating a greener future? Yes, we do. We'd like it if people are on our journey, but you know what? Whatever gets the world done, right? So the planet doesn't care if somebody's motivation is, to make themselves feel better, to virtue signal, or whether they want to make money from it, right? The planet's happy to take the help, whatever the original motivation is, right? So, if somebody just wants to use Cleo to reduce their cost per lead and get their pipeline, and they don't really care about the carbon offsetting, you know what? Carbon offsetting it still happens, right? The good still happens. So, I think naturally people that are aware and they want to be able to do a bit of good and they want to be able to talk about the good, people that want to be able to put a little badge on their campaign saying this is a net zero campaign, I think will resonate with those people earlier. But we are talking to people that actually just see this as like a buy one, get one free type offer, right? It's like, okay, we want to try something new to help invigorate our pipeline. We want to send out an email with something new. How do we reinvigorate our list? So yeah, so some people are quite altruistic. Some people just want to make some savings, but the planet doesn't care, like I said. So that the planet gets the help either way. The good happens no matter what the original motivation was.
All right, so thank you for that, Jason, on how you guys place a strong emphasis on your dedication, in order to create a greener future and promoting sustainability for the Cleo Tech. Okay, now that ends our second segment. Okay, this is what we have been waiting for. So let's entertain the questions from the community. So I am going to go to the live chat section. Okay. I would like to browse some of the questions. Wow, these questions from the community are overwhelming. Wow, thank you so much for the support. As of this time, we have 29 live viewers who are tuning in right now. Hello, guys. Okay. Now, just a reminder, picking your question right here in the live chat doesn't mean that you are the automatic winner, because the team of Cleo Tech will be the ones who are going to review all of the questions here in the live chat, and they're the ones who are going to decide who deserve to be in the top 3. So just a reminder, the third place will win 20 USD, second place 30 USD, and the first place with the best question of all the questions here will take home 50 USD. Now, it's time for us to entertain these questions. First from Flor de Horda. So, and I quote, Jason, how can businesses and individuals get involved with Cleo and participate in this sustainability-driven initiatives? And are there any specific requirements or partnerships necessary to collaborate with Cleo?
No, not at all. So if you're a business that wants to use the platform, just come to our website and sign up. If you're a user, so users very soon will be able to come in and actually meet their own personal goals. If they want to go carbon net zero, for example, they can come and do that. If you are a partner in the space, come sign up. Come let us know what you can offer. So if you've got a sustainability solution or if you've got a route to market, if you are a marketing company with an audience, we actually have built in margin for partnerships to offer Cleo. So if you feel you've got an audience that you can offer Cleo to, there is actually 30% margin baked in for somebody to resell Cleo effectively. So because we're a technical solution, so you can go and provide Cleo to your customers and make a very healthy margin. And if you're just an enthusiastic crypto individual, then come talk to us about being an ambassador, right? So we're actively recruiting. We want people that can help us. So come to our Discord and talk to the team about what the role of an ambassador is and what you'd have to do. But all the way from partner in the system, partner to sell the system, brand to use the system, or an individual to get involved, please just come to either our Discord or come to our website and just talk to us. And, we'd love to hear from you.
All right, so hoping that answers your question, Flor de Horda. Thank you so much. Next question coming from Game Buzz. So his question for you, Jason, and I quote, what will be the biggest impact of the project in the environment and ecosystem, and when can we see those results?
I mean, we started now. So I'm trying to focus people towards carbon offsetting because it's very measurable and we can see the sustained good that's being done. So our personal targets are around actually carbon offsetting. So our system's already net zero, and all of our client campaigns run through the system will be net zero. So like I said, we're 28 tons of carbon offset already with our very first campaign. Q3 will be a lot higher as we start to ramp up. All of this will be published on chain. You'll be able to see it all in the metadata, and you'll be able to see the tokens flying around the system. So, we are super transparent because that's what the blockchain open ledger is for. I said about carbon offsetting, it's my personal favorite. I feel like tree planting is fine, but ultimately the tree will die and all the carbon that's absorbed will come back out into the atmosphere again. And I feel like through our partnership with Rimbaraya, they're doing some amazing things, not just tree planting, but a whole host of things that are helping the environment, in a measurable and sustainable way. So, yeah, I think we'll do more stuff along the way, but for me, it's going to be, meeting our carbon targets, and we will share those very, very regularly each quarter. And eventually there'll be a chain explorer so people can see everything. The devs are just working on that now. And also any individuals will be able to see the collective done they've got in their app. So they'll be able to see if they're working towards their own goals, for example. We'll do some like anniversary NFTs. If you reach your own personal carbon net zero goal, which is different depending on the country. So if you're in Asia at the moment, your footprint is a lot less than if you're in America listening. Europe's somewhere in between the two. UK is a little bit more than mainland Europe. So we'll help people set their own goals and then get kind of special NFTs if they're net zero for 23, for example. So, there's a lot of good we can do with a blockchain, despite the press saying it's bad for the environment, which it isn't, right? Okay. They're just very ill-educated. So hopefully we can help educate people along the way.
All right, so hopefully this answers your question. Game Boss, thank you so much. Next question from one of my longtime supporters, A&D Family Channel. Hello to you once again. Now, his question for you, Jason, and I quote, aside from marketing for good, what other applications are you guys developing?
Yeah, so there's we actually detail this really well on the website. So we started with marketing for good. but the next two that are coming online very quickly are Sports for Good and Schools for Good. So like I said, sports, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, so I won't repeat myself, is clubs or sports institutions or individuals launching digital collectibles. The schools one is incredibly excited. Now, I'm in the UK. I've got children in the UK. Every single school in the UK has got carbon offsetting goals. Now, they're trying to do things like use energy sources and stuff like that, but they're struggling for ideas on what to do beyond that. Now, what we offer them is like a modern day bake sale. Okay. So the kids in the schools create the artwork. It can be a drawing. It can be a photograph. It can be a poem. It can be a piece of music. It can be a video. The schools create the content. They load the content into Cleo as an NFT. So that turns them into a Polygon NFT, and they sell it to their mums and dads and nans, and then they keep it in their wallet, right? So a school on average only needs around $8 per pupil per year to go net zero. That's all it is. It's not a lot. So imagine a bake sale, but this time it's getting their family to buy NFTs, and they can do it in Cleo on their debit card. They don't have to worry about crypto. The crypto all happens in the background. So they come in, and if it's priced at $4 or $5 or $1 or whatever the collectible cost is, it will be in fiat. They can buy it. But like I said, the completion of that transaction through to the good all happens through our Cleo token. So those two schools, I mean, there's nearly 40,000 schools in the UK, right? And we're talking to 50, and that's keeping us really busy. And that's just a drop in the ocean. So this is this can absolutely explode in these different markets. Now, the fourth one is individuals. So it's not really a target for us, but we actually think individuals might want to set up like a direct debit to offset some things, so marketing for good, sports for good, schools for good, and then individuals is our kind of fourth one. And all of these are coming online during the next 2 quarters. So this isn't a 3-year roadmap. This is a 6-month roadmap. Like I said, because the application is developed, it's built, we're now just verticalizing it to help give us a little bit more scale for our partners. But great question. I love that question. So I'm trying to keep a mental note of which questions I really like. So no, that's a really good one.
Yeah, it is. A&D Family Channel. You've heard it from Jason. Great question. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Now, next question coming from 30 Debasish Sahu. Hello to you. His question for you, Jason, and I quote, how does Cleo make sure that environmental factors are prioritized during the development and operation of the blockchain technology?
Yeah, I mean, that's really important. So we've talked a lot about our ESG council. So they keep us really clean. And their job is to make sure that we are meeting the right standards. When we're assessing our partners, we go by the UN SDGs and global certifications like Vera. And we then do some personal investigation beyond that. We purposely selected Polygon because of their commitment to be a net zero blockchain. So, if you're not sure if Polygon are doing that, I'd suggest just go look or go Google Polygon net zero. So we specifically picked those guys because they're not just proof of stake. They're not just a second layer on top of Ethereum. They are incredibly committed to going net zero. And that's what kind of helped us pivot away from building our own blockchain to working on a public chain, because public chain gives us a lot more benefits too. Now, in the meantime, we're offsetting each of those transactions while they aim towards meeting their goals. So we're going to keep a close eye on Polygon. We're hoping to go and talk at one of the Polygon conferences. But, I'm a big personal fan of Matic and Polygon. So, I hope that does really well in the next run. Like I said, no commitment or not investing advice, but it's been a really great solution for us to build on. Plenty of devs available for it. Infinitely scalable, low cost. It's been a great blockchain for us.
All right, so hopefully this answers your question, 30 Debasish Sahu. So thank you so much for that. All right. Now, next question coming from Alithea Gaston, also one of my longtime supporters. Hello, Alithea. Now, her question for you, and I quote, could you provide some insights into Cleo's functioning solution, marketing for good, and its real world implementation through live client campaigns?
Yeah, so let me just give you a customer journey walkthrough, okay? Because I think this is really important. So customers like to generate leads on their own website or to generate leads through established third parties. So Cleo plugs in, and in essence, we are the front and the back. So we help them promote the offer. You do this thing, and there is this reward that gets done. And the second they complete the action, that fires up their account in Cleo where they claim their good. So they redeem their good. So in essence, there's an end-to-end process where it ends up with them entering into Cleo. And I'll shed a little bit more light on why this is really important for us in the future. So they come into Cleo, and that gives us an opportunity to ask them a question, and in effect, they redeem their NFT. Now, in our first campaign for Lenovo, we actually had 100% redemption. Everybody wanted the good doing. Which I wasn't quite sure what the redemption level would be, but it seemed like it was a real key driver in people investing their time in something. Now, what we're also doing, which is incredibly important for token holders, is that we are building out our own database too. So in effect, every lead that's generated gets added into our own intent engine, which means that as we grow and scale, we will become more profitable and we'll be able to drive greater revenue from our own database rather than working with third parties like LinkedIn and Google and Meta and places like that to deliver leads. So we actually have a very sustainable growth. At the moment, our finances are based on having to pay these third parties, but ultimately, as we build our own database, that will, when we remove that third party lead cost, we'll be a lot more profitable, which means we can offer a lot more, support to the token. And that's why I said like 10% of our gross revenue immediately goes to support the token. So it's very trackable from day one.
All right. So hopefully this answers your question, Alithea. Gaston, thank you so much. Next question from another one of my longtime supporters. Once again, Eric Billig. Hello, Eric. It's been a long time. Now, his question for you, Jason, and I quote, could you provide some details on Cleo's Sports for Good initiative, which enables sports organizations and clubs to release tradable digital fan collectibles or NFTs to offset their carbon footprints?
Yeah, so clubs, and we're talking to, I'd say 12 football clubs at the moment, which I think if anybody follows, English and European football, they'll know the name. So clubs make IP all the time. They have photographs, they have video clips of goals, they generate match day programs, they have legends, right? So they have, classic moments in their history. So we're talking to clubs about unlocking that IP as a digital collectible. They load it into Cleo as a collectible range. That creates a fully Polygon compatible NFT that people can see in their wallet, or they can export their key and they can stick it on OpenSea or whatever they want to do, right? So Cleo essentially allows them to have this turnkey solution. Now, they create the digital collectibles. We have random rarity within them. They can have we're talking to somebody about doing player packs where you buy the pack and you get 5 random player pictures. So you might want to collect the whole set of this year's squad, for example, right? So it's as simple as launching an NFT range, but it's plugged into our partners. So they can then decide, okay, we want the good to go towards offsetting our carbon, in which case the collection goes straight through to the carbon partner, but it's all then trackable on the blockchain. So it removes the complication of them doing their own collections. And also, if they do a collection, they're doing a collection for good. They're not doing a collection for their profit, which I think is really important. And the added advantage is that the trading fees that, the sell-on commissions on the trading then goes to support their goals too. So clubs wouldn't need to do a lot to generate a lot. Now, from our point of view, this is big revenue, right? We're talking to clubs with, millions of fans globally, right? Clubs that are getting, 50, 60,000 fans into one stadium on a Saturday, right? So offering them digital collectibles where 10% of the total gross revenue goes towards supporting the token. I know people won't necessarily invest in Cleo because it's an NFT platform, but look under the hood, that's essentially what we are. But we want these collections to be for good. So we've had some incredible interest for it because it doesn't cost them any money. They already have these photos. They literally just load them into Cleo and promote it as a for good offer. So we think this is incredibly scalable. Now, we are also talking to basketball. So we've had some conversations in the NBA, and we're talking to a couple of other bodies like British Athletics and stuff like that. But, you know, this isn't something that's unique to football. Anybody with a community, anybody with a fan base, you know, it could even be an individual player that just wants to do something good too, right? Or a celebrity. So we're not being too restrictive about who we use, but we have to be very targeted on our marketing. So, you know, that's, you know, we know where we're going after, but it's a very wide church, very broad church, sorry. So we're not sure who will join us on that journey.
All right. So hopefully this answers your question, Eric Billig. Thank you so much. And since we're almost running out of time, let's entertain a couple more questions from the community. So next question coming from Art Minto, another one of my longtime supporters. Now, Jason, could you explain the chance to offset your carbon footprint through Cleo NFTs on OX Polygon?
Yeah, so an individual, so if you're in Asia at the moment, your carbon footprint's about 5 tons. If you're in the UK, your carbon footprint is about 9 tons of carbon. So you'll be able to come into Cleo, you can do a one-off transaction. So we have a suite of collectible NFTs that you can buy that have their different weighting. We're doing some artist collaborations, so some limited editions that people can buy. With brands, we actually create ones with them. So for example, the Lenovo one has got the Lenovo brand on it. So you know, we're very flexible on that, but an individual could come in and do a one-off purchase. They could buy it as a gift for somebody, but also you could set up a monthly subscription. Now, this isn't live yet. This is going to be towards the end of Q2, but you might say, okay, well, we help you calculate. It's about 12 if you're in the UK, it's about £10 a month, and that will get you net zero. So you can do a subscription, and that will offset Netflix. It'll offset your holiday. So we're just working on a little carbon calculator, so people can say, okay, this is me, this is how much carbon I need to offset, and then they'll be able to subscribe through Cleo. And of course, the nice thing is they get this certificate. They can print it and hang it on their wall if they want, or they can connect it to their LinkedIn or social media, and it'll say what good they've done in that year. And I think that's coming now. Like I said at the beginning, at the moment, this is voluntary, but ultimately people will be set carbon targets, personal individual carbon targets. And I'd rather get ahead of that than wait for the government to come in and enforce a solution, you know, and find something that fits individuals that they can develop. So, you know, it's pretty exciting. We're talking to a number of people in that space, like the UN and governments and stuff. So we're trying to make sure that we're positioned to be, I know this is a bad word in crypto, so I don't like saying it, but we will be compatible with CBDCs, because that's just, it's important that we are inclusive. You know, personally, I don't like the idea of a CBDC replacing fiat, but, you know, as an on-chain system, we need to be compatible with that type of solution. And we want to make sure that our carbon credits are recognized as well through Cleo. So there's a lot of that going on with our ESG council, and we'll update people as that moves forward. Today, it's not really a problem, but I think in 5 years' time, like I said, I think we'll all have personal individual carbon targets. I'm pretty sure our car will be linked to that. So, you know, it'll say, oh, you can only drive 2 miles today in your car because you've used up all your credits for this month. You know, it sounds like a very dystopian world I'm describing, but if we don't get there as people, you know, the powers that seem to control the world will come down with some kind of enforcement measures. And hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully we all, you know, can do some good along the way.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Artmin, too. Thank you so much. So let's entertain one more question. Now, coming from Lee, so, and I quote, how does Cleo strike a balance between marketing effectiveness and promoting social responsibility?
I mean, to be frank, our job is marketing effectiveness, okay? So we provide the tools for brands to talk about sustainability. it's not us, right? We're not going out there to say we are super sustainable, although obviously we are, but we're a tool. We're a tool to enable brands to offset their ESG goals, right? 100%. So we want to focus on helping people improve their pipeline, not preach about ESG goals, but we do enable people to, engage with the platform to help them meet their ESG goals in a recordable, transparent way. So we're not trying to guilt people into doing something. Like I said earlier, we are selling savings. We're selling a way to go green that doesn't cost you any money, whether you are a football club, a school, or a marketing business trying to generate pipeline. So, we're all about effectiveness and selling savings. And along the way, we're helping the planet, but there is no balance for us to strike. We're very clear of what our position is, right? So we know where our space is. And can I just say, I know we're way over time. I think great questions from the community. So I really appreciate you giving us this extra time to answer those questions. I really do.
All right, so hopefully this answers your question, Lee. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, guys, since we're running out of time, we cannot cater all these questions. But if you take a look at the live chat, we were flooded with so many questions from the committee. It's so overwhelming, the numbers. I see, I think the highest concurrent viewers that I have witnessed earlier, it was like 39. Before we still have some 18 viewers here. So wow, guys, your support is so overwhelming for this live AMA. Thank you so much for that. Now, before we wrap things up, Jason, do you have some parting words for our amazing subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our AMA right now?
I mean, yeah, if you've lasted over an hour, congratulations, right? So, well, it's hopefully it's been of interest. We've got our token race coming up. If you'd like to be an ambassador, we'd love to get you in and talk to us about that. If you'd just like to be a part of the journey, come join our Discord. We'll make sure that you get access to our launch pad, where that's going to be the cheapest place to get the tokens when it goes live. And like I said, we're not doing a raise to build the system. We are live. We have clients. This is really going to help us scale. But, hopefully everybody's learned something. Hopefully everybody's excited for the future. And if you had a question and you really want it answered, please come in to our Discord. We do have an AMA questions channel, and we go through those questions every week on a video. So, please, if you have got, unanswered questions, just come into Discord, drop the question, and we'll cover it in a video. Next week, we're doing a real deep dive on sports for good. That's the next video. And hopefully, a little bit down the line, you'll invite us back and we'll come and tell you, how many trees we've planted and how much carbon we've offset, but more importantly, how many tokens we've burnt and how much is in our impact investing fund owned by our token holders. So I'd love to come back in a few months and give you an update if you'd have us.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for today's AMA session. We have the CEO of Cleo Tech, Mr. Jason Sibley. So once again, Jason, thank you so much for your time here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Okay, and also I would like to thank all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our AMA with Jason. And of course, for the results, so just simply head over to our official social media platforms in both Nomad Fury and Cleo Tech. For those of the questions that were not entertained, don't you worry, guys. We will be reviewing all of the questions. I mean, the Cleo Tech team will be reviewing it, and they will be announcing and deciding who deserved to be on the top 3. So once again, just to recap, third place will take home 20 USD. Second place will take home 30 USD. And the first place with the best question of all the questions here, so you will take home 50 USD. So stay tuned for the announcements in both the social media channels of Cleo Tech and yours truly, Nomad Fury. Okay. So guys, once again, thank you so much for your time. I know that some of you right here in Asia, it's kind of late, but I'm so happy that you guys still tuning into this. All right, thank you so much for the support. And if you think that this AMA helps you a lot, so kindly do not hesitate or think twice in sharing this to your friends out there, especially those who are so enthusiastic regarding crypto, Web3, and so much more. So guys, I do have a question for you. Did you enjoy this AMA session? Has this AMA helped you a lot and gives value in any way? And what do you guys think about it? Just let us know right here in the comment section. So once again, this is Nomad Fury, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you all for watching. Thank you.